But there's a Warhammer video that I really want to watch. We spent $2,000 to prove 40k is affordable. Like I wanted to watch this before I like commit to like buying more minis, right? I wanted to, you know, watch this just to see, oh yeah, is it affordable? Who knows? I think the sad thing is that we all share like a singular hobby that's very expensive, right? It's a large upfront investment, but cheaper overall. I do think that like with a lot of hobbies, the one thing that you're paying for the most is startup costs. Like it doesn't matter what hobby you're in, the startup costs are basically what consumes the most of your money. And then once you're slowly a little bit more into that hobby, you kind of have what you need to keep going, and you know what you need to repurchase, as opposed to just, you know, buying whatever you can, right? So 2K being the jumping off point, makes sense, but that's only because Warhammer 40k tabletop itself is a very expensive game, you know? Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's why. But anyways, let's keep watching this video, because I am very curious. Is $2,000 affordable in Warhammer 40k? 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to the Warhammer Podcast, episode 123. I'm your host, Brad. This is my co-host, Eric.
How's it going?
And today we have the most high-effort episode in our history. An episode that has been in the work for literally half a year.
Yeah, this one's been a while. Partially just trying to figure out how to do it, and also executing, because we put money on the line.
So without any further ado, let us figure out, can you actually afford Warhammer 40k?
The answer is no, chat. The answer is no.
Okay, before we get into it, 2 seconds. This is not just us shilling. We actually have new merch up on Orcs and Tau. You can get all of our designs on mugs now. So if you want a thematic paintbrush liquor mug to be cleaning your paintbrush in, it's now available, you sickos.
There's also stickers, which actually came out pretty well. I'm not like the biggest fan of stickers generally, but you know, I could see slapping that on you know, the carrying box of miniatures.
Slap it on your friend's stuff to devalue it. The Warhammer logo will devalue items, so it's of great use. All right, but enough of that. Let's explain to everybody the premise of today's episode.
So to start, we had the original $500 challenge about a year and a half ago. And in that, we went through every army to try and find out which factions could be legally purchased from Games Workshop, 2,000 point army for $500 or less.
Correct, but that was basically just a theoretical. And most of the factions couldn't even do it, as we pointed out.
Yeah.
And those that could do it had extremely limited options other than like custodies, and relied on basically really strong combo boxes or hilariously bad units like Katana 9th edition to get the job done.
Right, which didn't feel quite right to do a follow-up episode doing the same kind of thing.
Especially since we always yell at people not to pay MSRP for models, find them through cheaper means, they're all over the place.
Oh, absolutely.
That's not me.
This time it was more of a, let's actually do it. You came to me and said, let's actually spend $500 and buy an army. And
hold up, chat. Why does this model have a gyat? Why does this model have a gyat? To all the brush lickers in chat, what's your favorite flavor of paint? What is your favorite flavor of paint, chat? Wait, let me just look at it. Let me just look at their site real quick while we talk about paint, chat. Oh, the Daka one is so cute. Guys, can I get a fat 07s in the chat? Can I get like the fattest like 07s in the chat right now for me? Hey guys, 07s in the chat, buddies. It's over for me. We're gonna get some merch, guys. We're gonna get some merch. Why? Because I want to buy stickers. Isn't that common though? Do you actually accidentally drink your paintbrush like water? Is that like really a thing that happens? Okay, one in the chat if you've accidentally drank your like paint water. It's a rite of passage. I'm scared. I'm scared. What if I accidentally drink the paint water? Oh no. Everyone does it? I never have? Oh, okay. I guess some of us are just like insanely locked in, and some of us are just like, oh man, I'm just gonna do it. Accidentally? No, on purpose. You drank it on purpose? Want to like get you like, I don't know, fucking lead poisoning or something? Shit. I mean, I was a kid when I did it. I don't think I've ever accidentally like drank I don't know. I don't think as a kid I ever like accidentally ate anything like really fucking weird, you know? I honestly couldn't say that I've ever had something that was really bizarre or anything like that. But man, okay. Well, I guess I'm looking forward to drinking paint. Hell yeah.
And said, let's actually spend $500 and buy an army. And it was one of those, like, let's buy an army that we can use because, you know, we don't have infinite money. But, like, not worrying about official MSRP.
Okay.
Instead, just trying to get good deals however we could get them, whether it's eBay, some combo boxes, secondhand, whatever was legally obtainable kind of stuff.
Yes, and
Legally
then I
obtainable
immediately
is
upped the
crazy.
stakes.
Yeah, just a little bit, which support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SolarSingleton.
Great early shilling in the episode. What's our timer on this one?
Yeah, shill percent on this one. I mean, yeah.
But anyway, the point is, in this follow-up, we have purchased 4 armies to prove that you can get 2,000 points for $500 for most factions in 40k, as we're going to prove. We're also going to spend time pointing out various lessons and tricks as we go through how we purchase these. Hopefully this can help newer hobbyists who are watching this when they're starting out so that they don't waste money doing things inefficiently because, well, none of us are made of cash. If you are, support us on
Right. Right, and it's one of those, like, we're going to go through kind of like the story on how we got them, because you're not going to be able to get the exact same deal we already purchased.
Yeah, all of these are like bad for specifics. They are to teach you lessons. Like, you cannot go get the combo box I did 6 months ago that's been out of stock for 6 months. Don't go looking for it. It won't be the same deal I got 6 months ago. That's not the point. The point is to go find combo boxes. But before we get into all of that, let's lay down our ground rules that we're playing by, because we...
Okay, hold on. What is a combo box? Is it like the introductory set where it's like Space Marines versus like Tyranids? Is that what they mean by a combo box? Is it a good army? I think that's the thing though. Like, you can go really cheap, but is it good? Who knows?
Needed to have rules of engagement here.
Right. I mean, any challenge needs to have some rules, and it's not just $500, whatever goes. So one of the big ones when looking at getting deals is 3D printing. And for this challenge, we decided no 3D printing. We're going to get full real GW models, not resin, not 3D printed, whatever.
Yeah, it would be way too easy to do this with a 3D printer. We'll do that episode someday. Do not worry. But for now, we're going to assume that this is for new people who are interested in buying GW models off the shelf, not printing their own equivalents.
Right, that's a whole separate episode, which we will get to.
And as for prices, we did not want to include tax. They're different everywhere. When you see a price tag, you always assume plus tax. That's just how it works. So this is $500 plus tax.
Yeah, this one was kind of tough because, like, tax is so different everywhere, but ignoring shipping was just not acceptable because, like, otherwise we just buy everything from the UK at a cheaper price and then the shipping is magically disappeared. It's expensive to ship that.
Yeah, for those who are newer, in the UK, models are much cheaper than they should be when you check exchange rates, partially because everything in the UK is worthless. See the pound.
I enjoy that you took that line.
But before we get any further, I just want to put a sanity check out there for people who don't know what they're looking at right now. 2,000 points is a full-size game of Warhammer 40k. It is not the intended starting point to get into 40k.
No. Very much not.
There are cheaper and easier starting points. Look into Combat Patrol. You just buy a box, play that. The format's not balanced, but it's okay. It is your entrance that you work your way up from. You're not...
Oh, I see. That's what that means. Okay, yeah. I am surprised. You want to know something? Honestly, I did not remember that tax was like a thing too. So now I have to like really like readjust what I want to buy in America and how much I'm gonna have to spend. Huh. This is interesting. Okay, cool. 170 USD for a Combat Patrol box. Ugh. Ugh. I am so sad that like my currency, the SGD is kind of like worthless. It's like on the lowest of keys, like paper money, like gamers. It's about $217.87 for me to buy a Combat Patrol box in America. So, ow, $200. That's how much I spent on clothes in a year. Yeah, 170 USD. It's about 217 US dollars. That's how much I spent on clothes this year. fuck! Also buying pain. Ah! Ow. Okay, guys. Pray for me. Pray for me, guys. It's over.
Not meant to be blowing $500+ all at once. This is the realm of insanity. This is not where you want to be. This is where I live. Do not be like me.
No, very much do not be like Brad and just decide to buy an entire army all at once.
Low-key
especially if
mood.
it's your first one. That said, with all these rules in place, there are a few categories of the factions. There are the factions that can still be bought with the old $500 challenge rules of, you know, the Amazon 15% discount from MSRP.
Ooh.
Then we've got the factions that have honestly a lot of secondary market options, so you can find some decent deals pretty regularly. And then there's the factions that we actually bought. So with that said, I guess we can start and get the boring ones out of the way. The ones that fit in the old rules of under $500 with Amazon's 15% discount.
Right, so I set the patrons to work to do some free work for us. They helped me figure out what could be purchased on Amazon for a 2,000 point army for less than $500, just to nix these off the list and say, these are way too easy once we start adding on any other tricks. This is just buying stuff that you could buy right now on Amazon. No tricks involved. So those are Custodes, even with the price increases that have happened since the last episode, of which there have been 2 price increases, GW, in less than 2 years, and current points instead of old points. Custodes is still too easy. To give you an example, a patron found a list where they literally just had to buy 2 combat patrols, which ended up being like $285. So Custodes is flat out not a challenge. Great.
Maybe we should think about getting Custodes.
Grey Knights, famously probably the best combat patrol.
Oh,
Same
Grey
deal.
Knights.
You just buy the combat patrols and you can end up with a 2,000 point army. And to be honest, it ends up as a decently balanced one.
Yeah, that one definitely is fantastic for showing Grey Knights kind of
I just want to get the fucking baby walker. That's the only one that I want. It's so funny. I want the baby walker so bad.
thing. The other common one that I thought of from the old episode was Knights.
Yeah, so Knights didn't make it in the original episode because we were stuck at MSRP. However, even with the price increases, Chaos Knights can still get by on Amazon prices. Only Chaos Knights, not Imperial Knights. For the first time ever, they're not a mirror like we always joke. Because Chaos Knights has access to more War Dogs, and to be honest, the most competitive list you're going to play is the cheapest list to purchase awkwardly of just spam War Dogs.
I don't hate that because, I mean, that's a fine way to get into the army and then have your whichever centerpiece big knight you want to get, you know, as your, oh, I do actually enjoy playing knights. I want to get the big one kind of thing. But yeah, neat that Chaos Knights was actually able to do it.
Yeah, so you literally just buy 6 of the War Dog boxes. There you go. Imperial Knights does not get to do that, however, which we can talk about. Imperial Knights, because they don't have access to the War Dog box, and their armigers are cheaper than Chaos ones because they keep trying to balance it to stop Chaos players from playing the best unit. And they refuse to write rules that make it where the big knights would be playable.
Yeah.
Imperial Knights ends up needing large knights.
Right.
At which point the budget is blown out of the water because they increased the price on them so much.
Damn.
$200 for a Knight Valiant is big yikes.
Yeah, definitely. But moving on to the counterpoint to Grey Knights, we've got Thousand Suns.
This one is actually impressive that we pulled it off.
I almost didn't believe it.
It's not the smartest list. It's a little bit of a meme, but it is possible. And it means you can get a realistic good Thousand Suns list for very slightly more than $500, even on just Amazon. But you can get Armin, 30 rubrics, 10 Scarab Occult Terminators, and then buy an Infernal Master and 3 copies of the Thousand Suns Exalted Sorcerer box, which will build 3 on foot, 3 on disc, and then 3 that you say are normal sorcerers, not Exalted Sorcerers, because they're the same model.
That is a good box. It really is.
It's the greatest box ever, but this is entirely too many characters. However, it's close to actually being okay.
It's not actually that bad, and it'll be nice like to have access to them when you buy some more sots or whatever, and now you're like, okay, now I can go down a little bit on the characters and choose which ones I like or whatever. But I mean, amazing that you can get to this point.
Realistically speaking, you get rid of the 3rd sorcerer box, you put in like a Terminator character character or something, and
Okay.
it's still a bit much, but it's close to a normal list. But it's possible, and it shows how easy it would be, so it's not very much fun for this challenge.
So, okay, the next one is Necrons on our list, and this brings up the
Yay!
question of, like, what if it's just out of stock?
Yeah, so right now,
Are they?
you cannot technically buy the list we found because it relies on a Catan that is not in stock that I also don't recommend buying because it's finecast.
I mean, maybe somebody else found it on Amazon that it was in stock, but, like, I've not seen it and, like, stopped buying finecast stuff.
Look,
What is fine cost, chat? Resin models? So that's different from plastic, right? Or are they the same thing? Maybe I need to watch a guide on like the difference in like models. Vary as resin model. Oh, so it just sucks then. Okay. Are they gonna re-release the resin stuff in like, you know, not resin then? Is that something they'll do? Because if everyone fucking hates it, then don't buy fine cost. Okay. It was Games Workshop's attempt at plastic, it didn't work. But what's wrong with regular plastic then? They are slowly? Ah, okay. So it's just a matter of like biding our time then. Eventually. I see. Okay, I still just want to, I guess maybe I'll just get the Imperial Fist stuff first then. And like some random space marine so I can just make them yellow. Old resin. You have to wash resin? Wait, what does that mean? What do you mean by wash resin? Like, I'm genuinely asking because that sounds wild to me. What? Regular plastic is very expensive to make the molds. Like several $1,000s each mold. Regular plastic is expensive. Resin was your attempt at making it cheaper. Wash it in soap and water? Oh, that sounds so wild to me. That's crazy. That sounds wild. Holy shit. I mean, I'm a big fan of like, you know, like plastic model kits like Gundam, you know, that kind of style, but shit. That sounds insane. That actually sounds really insane. Oh my gosh. Okay.
the point is, technically it was possible on Amazon, even though the list is not great, and it's way too easy once we open it up to everything.
Yeah.
We'll talk about things we passed on that we saw but we didn't buy, and Necrons was constant.
I mean, just as an example, like today,
The little
I saw
sparrow
one
guys.
get posted that was like almost $2K for $230. It had some extras that were like 3D printed and whatever that you just ignore, but like
You don't have to, but we did for our challenge.
yeah, but it was just one of those where it was like Necrons show up a decent amount of times in the secondary market. It's cool that you're able to buy it just straight in the boxes as well, but not a particularly difficult one at the moment.
And then for a last one, right on the fence, there are technically Space Marine lists, 2 of them at least that we found that are kind of garbo that you can buy for $500 on Amazon without doing anything weird, but it's still one of the 4 armies we're going to show off just because a lot of people watching this are going to be newer, so we might as well show off how you go about Space Marines, even though those who are experienced will know this is very easy. The list I'm throwing together, I put near zero effort into buying, and it turned out pretty great.
Yeah, it's
I kind of want to get a little like little robot girly man. I think I don't know why, but like realizing that robot girly man has like a little model, I kind of want it now. Oh my god, it's over for me, chat. Hear me out. What if I went to a rando Warhammer store and I live streamed whatever I could? I mean, obviously I'd have to ask for permission. But what if I went to like a rando like Games Workshop store and I just live streamed? Like clearly you're not gonna be able to see me, right? You're just gonna see like a view of like what I'm looking at. But I think that'd be really fun, wouldn't it? Would you guys be down for that? I don't know how to do that on Twitch though. Maybe it'd be a YouTube only stream. But I think it'd be really fun. And then you guys are gonna see the true damage. All 3 Games Workshop stores in Singapore. No. I'll do it when I'm in the US. I'm not gonna do this in like Singapore. I feel like Singapore Singapore is probably one of the worst places to IRL live stream because there's only like what? 3 Games Workshop stores in Singapore. If I live stream myself at a store there, I'd be doxing myself, right? Like, people hypothetically, I don't think anyone's creepy or weird enough to do it. But if I did that hypothetically, someone would be, like, crazy enough to, like, you know, show up and be like, hey, like, are you Miwabelle? And I'd have to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know? Games Workshop probably won't let me. I can't live stream myself shopping? Huh. Well, you know, who knows? Yeah, I'll probably just see if, like, any LGS would be cool with that idea. But hopefully, it'll be okay. Maybe. Or I could just take pictures, you know? I could just take pictures and turn it into, like, a mini video. Who knows?
It's one of those that's nice about Space Marines, that there are so many things that pop up, and like the fact that you can technically still buy it on Amazon discount. So like you really get to pick and choose what you want, kind of thing. You don't have to get stuck in like, oh, I'm forced to play Old Marines or whatever. Like all of it is potential after you look around, kind of thing.
And Space Marines have constant discount boxes, so just wait a couple months and there'll be a new one you could buy.
So I mean, on that, do we just want to jump right into that Space Marine list just as like an example of what you actually literally bought?
Sure. So we can do Space Marines right now as a bit of an example, real quick. To buy this list, all I did, this is the simplest story. I went on eBay. I bought some models off of eBay just because they were decent buy it now prices. I also went and found a Leviathan Space Marine half for $130 shipped. I put near zero effort into this to find a cheaper one. I just went good enough. And then I went on Frontline Gaming's secondhand store and I purchased the rest of the list of items to hit 2,000 points. It was that easy. So what we ended up with, we've got an Apothecary Biologist. We have a Captain and Terminator armor. I gave him a random enhancement for 15 extra points. We have a Lieutenant with a Combi Bolter. We've got 6 Aggressors, 3 Eradicators, 10 Hellblasters, 6 Inceptors, specifically Plasma, which is always the coolest, 20 Infernus Marines in 2 squads, 5 Stern Guard Vets, 5 Terminators, a Ballistus Dread, and a Redemptor Dread. So you got a pair of Dreadnoughts and a bunch of Marines. They're guys in tin cans. It's why people get into 40k in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty open list kind of thing. Like you said, like you've got a couple Dreadnoughts and a bunch of choices between what type of Space Marine you want to play with.
This is every casual Space Marine list. You would see this walking into your local game store at a table with Timmy playing it against Susie or whatever, and you go, yep, that's Space Marines.
Yeah.
Totally fine list. Nothing crazy about it.
I feel like the only real missing part is like Battle Line.
Yeah, so I bought this before the current data slate changes. Battle Line was not important when I bought this. There was no reason to buy Battle Line units. Oops. Pretend instead of 10 of those Infernus Marines, I bought 10 Intercessors. What?
I kind of love how in this angle, it looks like they've all like fallen down on something, right? It looks like they've slipped. It's kind of cute. I love it. What?
Whatever.
Basically, that would be the way, and it would be fine. Even if you don't, like, even this list itself with Battle Line mattering, you'll still have fun. Like, it's still a legit list, and it gives you an understanding of a bunch of different parts in the army.
Okay.
Brother, help me. I've fallen, and I can't get up. It's so silly. I love it. Oh, they're so cute. Man, help me, step brother in arms. I'm stuck.
So the next question is, what did I spend?
I hope it's under $500.
So we talked about it with the Leviathan half. I got 130 shipped. I didn't even include the Librarian and Terminator armor in this list. Like, it's just sitting off to the side, not being used.
Which is nice to have extras.
And then on eBay, I picked up a couple items and some other stuff off Frontline. These were the 6 Aggressors. It was actually 2 bids of 3 each. 3 Eradicators, the 10 Hellblasters, 2 different bids on 3 Interceptors each, 10 Infernus Marines, which were stupid cheap. You can just buy those on eBay for like $30 right now.
Yeah, I've seen that one pop up a couple times now.
They're the junk, in air quotes, troop of the edition for Space Marines. Like last time it was Assault Intercessors, now it's Infernus Marines. They will be harder to acquire when they move on to what they throw into every Space Marine box, just like it is now for Assault Intercessors. But for right now, they're stupid cheap. And then a Redemptor Dreadnought I picked up as well because it was sitting there calling to me. It's the first thing I bought because I like Dreadnoughts more than I like Space Marines.
I was pretty sure that you had the Dreadnoughts locked in.
No, I mean, they're
this
really
doesn't even
cute,
count. I own
still.
the Iron Hands combo box that was not part of this show. That's just something I own for the Spiteful Idiot army.
Yeah, but so the non-Leviathan part was...
So after shipping, pooled all together, it's $335. I won't bore you with exactly what everything costed this time because this does not matter. We spent $465 total and I put 0 effort in. I could have gone cheaper if I like really tried, but it was not worth doing. You could do Space Marines so many different ways and still get it under $500 because they have so many combo boxes, so many people who own them who are just hyper casual and will sell out of it eventually. There are a billion on the internet. We'll be getting into the lessons for each army as we do the next 3, but the point is, for Space Marines, every trick in the book will work if this is the army you were interested in.
Basic.
I actually have a question. Space Marines, how generic are they? Like, does this mean hypothetically I could just buy like rando Space Marines and use them for like I don't know, use like buy like I mean I know they're all basically like blueberries, right? But like does this mean like hypothetically I could get one and just put like I don't know, like a Lamenter logo on it? Like are they generic enough that I can do that? Oh. Aw, should we make a Lamenter and then like, oh my god, we'll do a Lamenter and then we'll buy like a really like nice, like, I don't know, like fucking Barbie bed for him. And we'll just keep him there forever so he never gets hurt. So we can actually protect one of the Lamenters. Okay, I you know what? We're gonna Barbie Dreamhouse that man. We're gonna do it, guys. We'll get one. Do you believe? I believe.
Basically, yeah. And there's no expectation for it to change anytime ever. Like they're gonna continue to have Space Marines as a prominent thing in combo boxes and all that stuff. So like
this is Games Workshop's Mickey Mouse. There will always be another Space Marine.
Pretty easy, but nice to show that like it happens. Like actually. But there were some other factions that had similar amount of like, wow, we've seen a lot of this.
Yes, things that aren't banned because they literally could just be bought on Amazon, but we banned because like they were very easy for us to do and we had no need for them.
Right, and one of the important things is like because we're actually buying these, we want to have some use of the models that are bought instead of just buying them to say we bought them kind of thing.
Yeah, we want this episode to not just be purchasing porn. Like we're not doing this just to have people click on this and go, wow, these idiots spent the money. I mean, some of you did that to get here, but that's fine.
We appreciate you for being here, but
we don't want that to be your takeaway.
Yeah.
The point of this was to get use out of these, to make sure that we weren't just wasting money to waste money. So there are armies where there were great deals. We could have picked them up, but it's like we already own this army in our playgroup and own like 7,000 points of it. We don't need another 2,000 points of it.
So, yeah, I mean, one of the obvious ones being Tyranids because of, you know, this edition's combo box thing.
Yeah, Tyranids was very easy. You could just pick up Leviathan halves. That's super cheating. But you can also pick up other Tyranids in addition, and you can end up with a list very easily right now. Eldar was another one we saw a couple times where we ended up hoeing and humming if it should be one of the ones, but my brother owns several thousand points of Eldar that never see play. So it really was a bad idea for us to waste the money on Eldar for this. So sorry, Eldar fans. I'm not making fun of you on this episode for once. It's just that it was a bad idea for us to spend the money on Eldar. Let them go to Eldar fans.
Yeah, and like there were several Eldar armies that you could buy, which is cool, but you know, there's also, you know, singles and all that kind of stuff that you could dig through and find. But surprisingly, Death Guard was another one.
And Death Guard was on our original list. And we had the plan even. We were like, we'll do this. Berylio doesn't know. Our editor, for those of you new, does not know that we're doing this project. And we were like, he likes Death Guard. When he shows up on screen, he's a Death Guard character. And he doesn't own a 40k army. He just edits a 40k podcast.
This would be like a great thing to do for him.
But then, the fool,
he played himself.
The other Maroon, on an episode we recorded a few months back, he mentioned how much he wanted to get into AOS and play Ideneth Deepkin, and wasn't really that into 40k because his local play group wanted to do AOS more, which is cool. But it does mean he screwed himself out of a Death Guard army without knowing it.
Me right now.
It was not the easiest, but it was pretty common to find good deals on Death Guard.
Yeah, there were pretty good secondhand armies, partly because it was the 8th edition Little Brother army, as I call them. The half of the intro set that is not Space Marines. So it was in 8th edition, it was Death Guard. In 9th edition, it was Necrons. Currently in 10th edition, it's Tyranids. That's why all three of those armies are on this list of like, they're in at least the dude trust me bro tier. And some of them are flat out banned because they're way too easy, like Necrons.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like Death Guard is probably gonna like age out of that at some point in the nearish future, but like...
They are a more elite army. Anything that's like Space Marine tier can always get close if we're doing like discounted rates.
And the secondhand availability has kind of just like helped that out enough that whatever. We chose not to do Death Guard because it's in the you can do it kind of thing.
An obvious...
Oh, wait, I just realized, do we actually have anyone who plays Death Guard in, like, the chat? Lamenters are famously hard to paint. Gotta do checkerboard and freehand insignia plus yellow armor. I will do my best. I've decided, I've really decided, like, I realized when I went to, like, the Games Workshop, like, store in Singapore, right? Not the Games Workshop store, but the store that sells, like, like, Warhammer stuff, right? The brushes that they sold me are really thick. So I went out and got some nail art brushes. Because I feel like if I use nail art brushes, maybe they'd be easier to paint like the really small bits, right? That I feel like that makes sense, right? Death Guard very meta at the moment, very hard to find secondhand for cheap as a result. Ah, well, I don't plan on buying the Death Guard, so I guess we're good on that front. I have Death Guard and Nids. Is it because you're competitive, or is it because you're or is it because you like them? Is the question. I dearly suggest you have the Lamenter's shoulder printed. It is time wasting. What I'm thinking about is, you know how with nail art, right? With nail art, one of the things that you can do is you can paint it already, right? Like you can have it painted already on like a small thing, and then you just like kind of just paste it on, so it's like a little more water like soluble on like for your nails. I'm thinking of doing something similar-ish for that, but with like, you know, the Lamenter's logo, right? Yeah. I think that might be the play. Either that, or like I'll go to my like regular nail artist to see if like she'll do. What if I got Lamenter's nails? I gotta ask my nail artist if she can do something like that, like Warhammer themed nails. That'd be so fun. But if you did a nail painting stream, I can't do nail painting. Like I am not good at stuff like that. To be very honest with you guys, I cannot, you know, draw within the lines, but I'll do my best. But yeah. Yeah, like a transfer sheet-ish. I know they have something like that for nails. I don't know if like there's like a Warhammer equivalent of it, but you know, it might be fun. It might be fun. I don't know what it's called. Can nail paint be used to paint 40k models? No, but I'm assuming that I can use like the paintbrushes for like for nail art, and like the decals specifically for nail art on like my Warhammer models, right? Tiny brush isn't all that useful for most of your painting. A sharp tip on a large brush is more useful. I think the issue that I'm kind of running into right now is that some of the brushes, because of how thick they are, they're a little hard for me to hold because my hands aren't big. My hand is basically the size of 1.5 Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like in length. It's 1.5 Yu-Gi-Oh cards. My hands are not big, so holding brushes, if they're a little too thick, sometimes they end up hurting. So I have to be like, like really look for like stuff that, you know, works for me, I guess. A lot of paint is just keeping your hands steady and having some patience. Yeah, we're gonna be painting a fuck ton of blueberries to start with, because I think that would give me like a decent-ish amount of practice. They're called transfer sheet over at Warhammer. Oh, okay. Do you have to use a child-sized tools? When I build Gundam models, I use child-sized nippers. Because the actual like metal ones, I can't like squeeze them. Like I can't use like, I don't have enough force to like, you know, like squeeze them through. So I have to use like the baby ones, like the kid ones. It's really bad. It's like really bad. It's kind of not great, but we're gonna work with it. We're gonna work with it as much as I humanly can.
This one is also Imperial Knights. It did not work out on Amazon, especially because GW just a few weeks ago increased prices again.
No.
And as we talked about, large knights have ludicrous upfront prices now if you buy them first party.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
So it really doesn't matter though, because on eBay you can buy Imperial Knights so easily. Everyone gets halfway through a project of painting a knight and gives up.
I think that's the main takeaway I have from the Knights Trust Me Bro tier kind of thing, of just have to understand that you're probably going to get a work in progress project that somebody's dropped.
Just reprime it and paint it what you want. And then you can drop it halfway through doing it and sell it to somebody else.
That kind of makes sense though.
We can continue the circle of life.
Yeah, I mean, the other one was Orks. This just like always comes up. I mean, I just saw another one today or yesterday. It was like 1,500 points for like $250 or 200 pounds or something like that. Orks are super common to see. I'm not entirely sure why.
There's just a lot of people who play orcs, and therefore there's a lot of people who sell their old orcs. But we did not want to go with it because Eric owns enough orcs.
I do own enough orcs.
As much as I want him to own more beast snaggers, he owns enough orcs.
So yeah, we chose not to do the orcs, and the last one was kind of surprising to me.
It was always right on the edge, and we debated it. It was Tau.
Thanks.
Tau, for those of you who don't believe in breeding GW's IP, right? But Tau is one that we kept seeing like decent deals on, and we're like, should we do this as one of the armies? And then we'd ho and hum about it, and then, you know, one of the two big pieces of it would get sold, and it's like, okay, never mind, we won't do Tau. And then another one would come up again, and we kept being like, do we do Tau? My wife already has like 3,000 points of it.
And then like there was the Kroot stuff coming up when, you know, I was like, oh, maybe things will change, and you know, saw a couple like Kroot that were for sale, but it's like, okay, what's it actually gonna do? Wait too long and it gets sold.
Yeah, and unfortunately the Kroot were on sale far before we knew what their actual points were.
Right.
Like for months.
Which, great
Don't
if
know
you
what
were
Kroot
looking
are.
at getting Kroot, but
Risky for us doing an episode.
yeah,
Wait.
we had goals in mind for what we were spending our money on, and it made it risky. And it would be one of those, like, we would just hesitate long enough that it would be gone, and it'd be like, well, I guess that's answered already kind of thing. And that just kept happening. So, you know, it kind of is one of those, you'll be able to find deals. Just keep looking.
Oh, they're the little lizard guys from the town. Right. Okay. Oh. I remember now. They're a race under Tau. Okay, understandable. I get it now. Thank you.
So we've already mentioned half of the armies in the game, almost literally. We've mentioned
Yay,
12
we
of
can
them.
do
So
it.
more than half the armies in the game have been mentioned as possibilities or just real easy.
Yeah.
So I would say that if you've got a $500 budget, which is for a lot of adults a decent hobby-sized budget to spend for the year, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I think
guess
that's
so.
the other thing is, like, you don't have to spend it all at once.
Yeah, this is insane people talk. You do not buy the $500 all at once unless you're unhinged like us.
I mean, if you have the budget
Mood.
available and you're like, I know I want to do this because, you know, I've played with other friends and I have a friend group that's playing, this is the deal, and you have the money, okay, sure. But like,
For a lot of people, you ease your way in. This is what you'll be spending over your first year or 2 or 3. But we did it 4 times in 6 months. And while we do these, let's just go in order of like the least impressive to the most impressive. Because
kinda
again,
get
this
it,
is how
though.
entertainment works.
yeah,
I kind of get it though, because like as content creators, this is technically content. So you do, you know, so like spending this type of money to make content isn't necessarily like, you know, the craziest. But I don't think I will be purchasing and building a full army for content myself. Because where would I put that shit, right?
yeah, it's like designing a storyboard and following it through. The next list
Ooh.
that we're going to go with in the Chaos Space Marines.
So this is one I've had to
They
keep
feel
my trap
expensive.
shut on a lot as people keep mentioning CSM. And I know I own like many thousands of points of CSM now.
This one was not fully expected when it happened, but
This is also one where we could have easily put it in the like passed on it tier. We saw this several times purchasable, but one of them was such a good deal that we said, screw it, this is going to be the third army.
Right.
Or technically the
Damn.
second army. The third army swapped because it was Death Guard and then it wasn't.
But do you want to tell the quick story?
Sure. For each of these, we'll do story time on how we purchased them, and then we'll do what the actual list ended up being, the price of it, and then we'll tell you the lessons so that hopefully you walk away with something other than just entertainment from this episode, and you can be a smarter purchaser, customer, buyer,
I
capitalist.
actually do
Wow.
feel
yeah,
like
it's
I'm
all of
learning a lot
those
from this.
things. So,
Words are hard, and I have a podcast.
yeah, the army that was going to be Death Guard ended up being CSM because there was a great deal.
There was. So, yeah, it's kind of mundane.
But I do feel like I am learning a lot. This does make sense. Yeah, one day Sunny and we need to sit down and we need to learn like what actually goes into building an army. I think that'd be really fun. You can have a kill team squad 10 men as your collection. You have so many races. Kill team is also significantly easier to manage. I don't want to get them yet because I don't know who I'll be playing against. Like I don't really have like, you know, people I will be playing against, and also like I just feel like for right now, buying and building an army, even if it's only on like a smaller scale, right? I don't have the space for it at all, you know? So much technique and knowledge when it comes to brushwork. Honestly, yeah, I do really enjoy the painting side of like Warhammer 2. I know we've been going very hard on like the lore lately, but I do really enjoy like the painting side of things, like learning about this stuff. It's very interesting. We haven't actually explored what goes into building an army and how to play it on the tabletop, so this might be very interesting. There are sites to help build. Yeah, I think that painting is like you know, relaxing. That's my concern. I don't want to like spend like a few $100s on buying like an army just to like, you know, put it in a box and forget about it because I have no one to play with, you know what I mean? That's like kind of my thing. So I'm like, okay, you know, I'm gonna ease my way into this hobby a little bit, but I'm probably not gonna commit hardcore into like, you know, into like buying or building something specifically for play. That's what the tabletop sim is for. Exactly. Painting seems more stressful for me than drawing. I don't know. I'm excited to do stuff like this because I do actually enjoy like arts and crafts. I'm not great at arts and crafts, obviously, but I do think about stuff like that. Like I do think it'd be really enjoyable to do like more like hands-on stuff.
And to show this one off, there were several ways we could have done this. It kind of fell into our laps instantly too, which makes it not the greatest story. But on one of the random times it showed up, my brother was on his way home from a work thing. He stopped by a very large game store that's near us, but is not like a local game store.
If you know what it is from pictures, don't say anything. Keep it hush.
Yeah, don't name the store because there's a lot of drama about this stuff with GW. But they sell secondhand stuff.
And it's really nice when stores sell some secondhand stuff for everybody involved, honestly.
Yeah.
So one of the times your brother stopped by and saw some stuff.
He sent pictures to us. We'll show them on screen. Yeah, I saw the cabinets, and there's a lot of cabinets. This was like 1/8 of what he showed in the secondhand area. But I saw all of this CSM, and the prices started like ringing bells in my head because like I generally know what a CSM list looks like. And I was like, hold up, this is like a one-stop shop. We have the list, right?
And like we had seen some CSM stuff popping up, you know, eBay and other things of like, okay, we roughly know what prices to expect.
So I quickly called him and said, stay at the store. I'm going to sit here and start mathing stuff out and tell you what to buy, and I'll pay you back when you get home. So I opened up New Recruit. I opened up a CSM list. I started throwing stuff in it that I saw on the shelves that looked like it was in good condition. And we ended up spending what on the shelves was $381 before tax.
Oh, I love this part.
Yeah, there was a bank error in our favor.
Yeah.
A lot of these items costed $30, and it's very clear that the kid at the cash register just accidentally forgot a 30 at one point because we paid $351 before tax.
I mean, I totally get it. Like, there's a certain point where you're just like 30, 30, 30, 30, and like your brain goes into this like power save mode, right? Of like, there's a continuous thing happening. I don't need to think anymore.
So I'm just pointing this out. We bought a rhino for less than $30, and we saved $30 by dulling the mind of the employee at the cash register. Therefore, rhinos are still free. Buy our hat.
Confirmed. But when we're talking about what we actually spent, that bank error in our favor is not going to the end total. We're going to say that like it was part of the cost.
Okay,
exactly. We're just going to say it was $381 because that's what I should have paid for this. Also, if the store managers at this store ever see this episode, this totally didn't happen. I'm making this up. Do not punish your poor employee for a mistake many months ago. Also stonks though. So we walked away with the vast majority of the final list. Like, buy a single model for whatever I want, done.
Yeah, it was wild to see it all come together, just like sitting there, and they were good prices too.
Yeah, and the models are in good quality. We've got pictures of them from when they got home.
Hopefully Aurelio's been showing some of them as we're talking.
Look.
Ooh.
They're beautiful, YouTube, aren't they? Audio audience, look with me. Ooh.
I mean, I guess like hypothetically, if we're saying they're spending $500 on an army, right? This is before paints and everything, right? You won't be able to use it right now. I don't want to use it. I just want to keep it because I like paint. But if they say they're spending $500, this is like before paints, right? So if you're basically like a newbie trying to get into Warhammer, I guess you'd have to budget like what, 600-ish? 600, 700 maybe? To account for like stuff like paintbrushes, paints, that kind of thing. I see. You can get starter sets for like 50 USD or less for paints. Yeah, I think you could do that. I mean, hypothetically, if you just bought like the introductory set, you bought like several of them, right? Wouldn't that be like enough paint-ish? Paints are really expensive? That's what I was thinking. I don't know. Wait, I don't know how much paint costs because when I bought the paints, like I bought like actual like Games Workshop like paints, by the way. I bought like I think 5 or 6 of them, some brushes, and a big can of like primer. I think the total was like a little under $50, but I don't know if they gave me a discount, you know? You can get a good collection of base paints for $100. I just bought the yellow and pink one. Yeah. Guys, now we have to make the very tough decision. Hear me out. Do I buy Warhammer stuff and paints, or do I buy a Switch 2 so I can play Mario Kart with my wives? Aw, man. Don't buy Games Workshop's paints without a discount. They're overpriced. I don't know. I think the problem right now for me is that I don't actually know what the market prices are on like paints and whatnot. So as like somebody entering the hobby, what I'm gonna buy is gonna be what has like the store attached, like what the store has like, you know, attached your name to, right? Right? Hoes before bros? Does that make you guys my bros and my wives my hoes? Wait, is that what that means?
Yeah, we'll figure out camera eventually, but this is a pretty good step.
But for the last model, luckily this is the secret point of this episode to show you guys options available. And I didn't utilize one of the major options I would like to show off, which is mini swap. So I went on our mini swap and purchased the last model there to show off that this is an option. This is on Reddit. There is a subreddit called mini swap. It is one of my preferred ways to pick up models on the cheap. It's also a good place to go to sell your models. I have a general higher trust of mini swap than I do of a lot of other places. It's a pretty well run subreddit, never had an issue, and I have sold and bought models at least half a dozen times each on this place.
Yeah, it's been since we started playing that it's been used, so.
The thing I dread most about using mini swap is that I'll have to go to the UPS store, and I don't like going there.
It's kind of scary, isn't it?
I don't like shipping things. It's scary. I have to talk to the people and
honestly,
do things.
mood as fuck.
Yeah, so okay, what did you decide to get from mini swap? Because I know that there's a bunch of CSM options if you're just looking for a couple days. Like,
okay, well, this is cheating because I blew my budget wide open. I bought a bunch of stuff, but only one was required for the $500 episode.
Is this thing kind of like doggy like and very cute? I think I might like this. I don't know what this is, but it kind of looks like a dog to me, and I do think I like it. But also, what the heck is a demon prince? I don't think I've ever seen that before, but maybe we don't. Maybe it's because I've never like really explored the whole like tabletop stuff. Maybe that's why I don't know.
So we're gonna say it was the Forge Fiend because it was well under the price.
fair enough.
Let's get to the final list.
All right.
So we've got a Dark Apostle and his two little cronies. We've got the Dark Commune, which is the cultist leaders. We've got the Demon Prince. It's the old version, but they're the same size as the new one. If you really feel bad about it, put him on a rock. The new one is only like a 6-month-old model.
Yeah.
Wait, is the only difference that that this guy has like a shirt on and this one doesn't? Is that like the only difference? Oh, I'm sorry. His wings are also red, and this one's like wings are like green, but this one has a shirt on, and this one doesn't, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't think the old one looks bad or anything.
No, it's cute. It's not as detailed as the brand new one.
Right.
The Lord Discordant, the best looking model with the worst rules of 10th edition. A Master of Possession, which is hilarious. We'll get to the prices. A Sorcerer in Terminator armor. So we've got a lot of characters here. There's 6 characters in this list.
Which is a decent amount, but like not completely crazy for CSM.
Again, I could have cut this up differently and done less characters, but the point of this is it is a very good cross-section of the army when we finish this list out. So we've got 10 cultists, we've got 15 legionnaires, which was 20, but points updates have made it so that I needed even less to finish this up. So to fit in my Forge Fiend, I actually cut 5 of the legionnaires we bought because I bought them as 2 groups of 10, but whatever. 10 Terminators, the Forge Fiend I bought, a Hellbrute, 2 Venom Crawlers, and a Chaos Rhino.
I mean, that's a pretty solid list. It's a bit heavy on the characters, but like not unreasonable. There's some cool vehicles chilling around, and it's always nice to have a Rhino.
All the characters who are leaders have something to lead that makes sense for the most part. We've got dudes going in the Rhino. Like this you can lay out in a deployment, and it is a real list. There is nothing really crazy about this list, and again, it came in under budget. You could change things out if you really wanted. We'll get to the budget though. So to rattle off some prices real real quick. We paid 20 for the Dark Apostle, 25 for the Dark Commune, 25 for a Demon Prince. All of these pictures have been on screen on YouTube, but whatever. The Lord Discordant was 38. The funny one is the Master of Possession we paid $18 for, which is someone new. You don't understand why this is so funny. There was a point where this thing was almost 95 US dollars because it was unpurchasable for like 9 months while being meta.
Yeah, which, like, don't chase meta.
Don't chase the meta ever.
It was stupid that it was at that point, but yeah, also dumb that it was a problem.
Yeah, last edition, it was one of the best HQ units in Chaos Space Marines, and it had been 9 months since the last time it was actually purchasable by Games Workshop.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that just reminds me of like when Ash Blossom was like limited and that shit was like $90 a card, and then they like printed it in like and then they just dropped it in like the branded like starter deck, and that shit immediately dropped down to like maybe it's like $1 now. It's like $1 maybe. Bro, so real. We love it when they flood the market with bullshit. I love it.
Sure, it's still out of stock on their actual thing.
It might be, but the point is it's actually sold now.
Right.
Yay.
There is ways to get it.
Then again, we paid $16 for a Sorcerer and Terminator armors, $16 for 10 Old Cultists, $30 for Legionnaires, $30 for Legionnaires, $30 for Chaos Terminators, $30 for Chaos Terminators, $30 for a Hellbrute. Oops, I forgot to push the button once.
Yeah.
25 and
so
20
cute,
for a pair
though.
of Venom Crawlers, $28 for a Chaos Rhino, and then $64 for a Forge Fiend I bought on Miniswap. So all of that, when you throw it together, is $445 if I did my math right, and if not, the correct one is on screen.
Not bad.
Yeah, so we're way
okay.
under budget still, and like we can do whatever we want with the rest of this. And I could have done different. This was not min-maxed.
There were more options that could have been bought instead. Yeah.
Yeah, this was done to make a halfway balanced, nice slice of what CSM has. So I'm very happy with the end result here. It was 1995 points for this list, by the way, in the current balance. Didn't even use 5 of those Legionnaires. So it is incredibly easy to walk away with a good CSM army from what we've seen over the course of the last 6 months.
I mean, you know, to be fair, not everybody has a game store that's local-ish that has these kind of deals that they can check on all the time. But it wasn't that far off from what we had seen on other things popping up in eBay. And
like, you could just go on Frontline Gaming, which does
guess
secondhand stuff. It's a slightly higher price than our local place we've seen, but they have a huge amount of things that go through their secondhand, and that's purchasable online from anywhere in the US. You just gotta pay shipping. So like, you have an option even if it's not your local game store. However, this is due to drama with GW. They don't like you advertising online that you have secondhand stuff in your shop. They really don't like this, I've been told from several stores locally.
yeah, allegedly there's been things said.
To not show their secondhand stuff online if they want to keep their distribution of GW stuff. Because of this, you would have to go to your local stores to find out if they have secondhand stuff usually.
And
Okay,
as
that makes
annoying
sense.
as it
That does
is,
make sense.
it's also like not that bad to just like go into your local game store and see what's going on. So it's tough, especially if you don't have a game store that's local.
That's what the big ones like Frontline are for then, is like the mega shop that's countrywide. And then Miniswap is always a good lesson to take away from stuff like this. I really think it's far safer in my mind than eBay. I hate buying things on eBay. I have been scammed so many times in my life because I play Magic and One Piece and stuff like that, card game wise.
scared
And
of eBay too.
half of eBay is scam garbage or people who will cancel your order and then repost it for $80 more.
It's so tough to recommend, you know, like, oh, take a look at eBay for your stuff because like it can be a pain in the ass.
I've never been screwed on eBay for Warhammer stuff. It always tends to be card game stuff, which is a vile place you should not go. But having bad experiences on that side of things, it makes me
Card
always
games,
wary
let's
of
go.
eBay.
And Miniswap has been pretty reliable and like just it seems like they're generally good at moderating things and like it works out well. All of that said, like this is another caveat of we live in the US, Michigan. So like that's our frame of reference when we're buying things, which means that like there's sometimes a larger community of people on Miniswap trading to people in the US than like Australia.
Yeah, this whole show is US based. I can only help you so much, Australia. At a certain point, you're on your own. Defend yourself from the wildlife and hope to find a good deal.
Yeah.
What about Singapore? No! It's over for us. It's over for us, chat. If you're from Singapore and you like Warhammer, it's over, chat.
Hopefully, you know, there's some local game stores
we are
and stuff
fighting
like
for our
that.
fucking
You can
lives
always
out
just,
here.
like, I don't know, like ask some old coworkers that might be like, hey, you said you played Warhammer at some point. You still do that? You need your army anymore?
Barter with the local kangaroos.
Yeah. But as
That's
much as
me.
we've complained about eBay having potential scams, like, there's some good deals to be made.
Oh, is this a
Ooh.
clever segue, Eric?
I hope so. I was trying to into the third army.
Yeah, this was the third one we chose. I
Okay.
actually didn't think this was going to make the list. It is Leagues of Votan, which is shocking because I really had it nixed on the list originally as something I could
Ooh.
pick.
There was no expectation of this happening, and like it didn't really change even as we were kind of looking around. Like you'd see a few things here and there, and there'd be like, oh, maybe here's a solid deal on a Sagittar, and then that would disappear, and it'd be like, all right, what do we do now?
Yeah, so for those who don't know Warhammer, Leagues of Votan is space dwarves, and they are one of the newest armies. They are only about a year old, and because of that, it's hard to
Okay.
find them secondhand. And also, the newer the sculpt, the more expensive it tends to be, which is just a Games Workshop problem. So we had no real hope of getting Leagues of Votan as one of our 3 armies.
No, not Games
However,
Workshop.
this was our eBay army. The story behind this one's pretty quick and simple. Ready? So I was on eBay browsing around looking for the third army we're going to talk about.
Which that one took a while, so it was nice to have seen a bunch of other stuff at the same time.
Yeah, we'll get to the heartache of that one. But one of
Okay.
the days, I saw a pretty sizable Votan lot. So I clicked on it. I'm like, this
Ooh.
is large. And then I saw in the description that the person had posted, like, this is my 2,000 point army I'm selling. And I was like, I'll be the judge of that. So again,
Yeah,
I
right.
immediately opened up New Recruit and started pushing everything into it and going, oh crap, this is a 2,000 point army. This was probably someone's competitive list. They got halfway through building, the meta shifted, and they were annoyed and moved on.
You know,
honestly,
fair.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were looking at like playing 10th index and were like, this is dumb.
Yeah, they could have just gotten bored of Votan's index. That's fair.
But it actually was like a 2K army list put together.
Yeah.
Damn.
However, there was a problem with it. It was
Okay.
not up for $500. They had it on Buy It Now for $600. It
Okay.
looked like it had been up for about a week. And when I went to see about if I could do best offer, I saw that it said like, you will be a pending offer. They have declined 4 offers or something. So I
Oh.
talked to Eric. And I was like, do you want to have us bid on this? Should we just give them an offer and say like, look, this is our limit, and then see if they accept it? We talked about it, and I was like, all right, I'm doing it.
Because it's a pretty good deal, and
Okay.
it would be nice to have Votan. It would honestly be really nice to have Votan for our playgroup.
Our playgroup has a player who, for Christmas, got part of the Votan battle box thing because we bought it partially to rip the land fortress out and give it to Eric as his orc Christmas present, which is a whole different topic. So
What?
we had a very
Is that a
minor
thing?
start to Votan.
But like, there's interest in fleshing that out to a full list, and
Okay.
it needs a lot of help. So this would do pretty good.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't want to offend this
Oh.
person. $600 is probably a pretty fair asking price for a whole 2K points of Votan.
It seemed like that was reasonable from what we had seen other stuff go around, but it was up for a little while.
I said
Okay.
screw it. I've been told to screw off plenty of times in my life. I can handle it. So I put in a best offer of $490 plus the $10 shipping because you can't modify that on an offer. And I just
Yeah.
put in the note like, hey, my budget is exactly $500. I can't do a counter offer. I hope this is not offensive. I would really like this army. Hit send, and like 4 hours later, I got the notification that my bid had been accepted.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so
So
nice.
I guess a lesson we learn is don't be afraid to make an offer on something you're interested in, but be polite to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Also, don't be a dick. Like, I'll give you $15 for that $600 thing.
Yeah, that's not a great
yeah,
way to
people
go about
suck
it.
when they do
Yeah.
that.
Also, like, if they decline it, accept it and move on.
Yeah, so the army ended up showing up a couple weeks later. Everything was there exactly as pictured. Fantastic. The final
that's
list, for
nice.
anyone wondering, is a call, 6 Thunderkin, which I have as 3 and 3, but whatever. 10 Berserks, 10 Hearthguard that you can either do as 5s or 10s. 18 Hearthkin Pioneers, which are the bikers, which is the legal maximum number you could ever field. This is the one thing that we'll get into, but
Little meta chasing kind of thing, but it's also Votan, so.
a pair of Hecaton land fortresses and a pair of Sagittars.
Wait, I do like them though. I do think they're very cute. Also, they kind of look like turtles to me, and I do really like them. I saw someone said, oh, there's a Facebook group for Singapore Warhammer. I think the problem with joining Facebook groups is I ultimately I am a VTuber, so like I'm a bit hesitant when it comes to like joining like stuff like Facebook groups, even for like Yu-Gi-Oh and whatnot, because it's like, oh, I don't want people to eventually figure out, like, if I join with like my Facebook account, I don't want people to figure out that I'm, you know, Miwabelle. So do probably need to offload it ASAP. I kind of feel like, I don't know, as someone who's like, I do sell a ton of my stuff, you know, once I'm like bored of it, but I do tend to sell my things specifically to people who seem like, even if it's a little cheaper than like what I'm looking for, if they say like, hey, I want to get into this hobby and I really like this and I think this would be a good like jumping off point, I'm like, okay, you know what, you know, from someone who enjoys a hobby to another person who enjoys a hobby, I mean, if this is your budget, this is what we're working with, it's not criminally low, I can give it to you for this amount, you know what I mean?
Pretty good spread.
It's 1980 points, and then you can just take a 20-point enhancement, boom, 2k points.
Yeah.
This is a pretty fine list. I, in fact, did not know much about Votan, but I was like, Bricky knows Votan. So without giving him the actual details of why I was asking him about this, I sent him the list and said, hey, in a casual game, is this good? Because my personal belief was like, if I didn't spend every penny, I could have mini swapped for the price of shipping the like 6 of the Pioneers out for like some battle line guys or a character in battle line guys, whatever. It seemed like for mini swap that would be something I could do for basically the price of shipping. But when sending it to Bricky, he said he was totally fine with the 18 Pioneers, even like casually. He's like, yeah, it's just a fast landed list. If anything, his argument was land fortresses aren't that great right now, so maybe only one of those. And I'm like, well, I would definitely keep the land fortress, so I guess this casually is a good list if we're not agreeing on which unit we wouldn't have.
Yeah, it's one of those where it was like, I don't disagree with what you're saying there, Bricky, but no. We're gonna keep the extra land fortress because that's a cool model.
So I do think this one wound up being a pretty solid list if we had that. And I guess my general advice on that fact would be it's a fine 2k starting point, and you're always going to end up with more than 2k eventually because you're gonna want variety. You're gonna want to be able to like list build and choose what you want in your faction.
And like probably something new is gonna come out in a year or two of your time playing, and you're gonna want to get that.
Yeah. So I wouldn't stress too much if what you end up getting, you're like, I feel like I've got too many of this unit.
Yeah.
It's like you will eventually come to a point where you're like, man, I really want to play a list where I run 15 of this model where I didn't really like it originally. Those will happen.
Is that a thing?
It's a solid starting point, even if not every model that you buy is your favorite.
So, I mean, this one definitely was a lucky get kind of thing. But most of the reason that happened is because you've been watching eBay and mini swap and local game stores for a couple months now because of our third list.
This was the one where I decided to make us suffer.
Cults?
It
really?
was such a like, oh, that would be really cool if we could do it. It might be doable, and then you forced it.
I'm not gonna lie, I've seen like I went to like that one local store that had like Warhammer stuff just to take a peek, and most of the stuff that they had was like Gene Stealer cults, and I was like, oh, I don't really want to buy that, so you know, I just kind of like passed on it. But I didn't think they were that cheap. I mean, I guess they were like 11 months ago, a year ago. Shit. Yeah, right. I thought that Gene Stealer cults were pretty expensive. I guess they're cheaper. I don't know.
So this one is, to pull the veil back, the final list is Imperial Guard or Astra Militarum.
2k guard for $500.
I got debated.
This was not something that most people would think is possible. It is one of the most expensive armies in the game.
Yeah.
It's not AdMech or Sisters, which are probably not doable, but it is up there.
That would be very tough to do, but Imperial Guard is definitely troublesome. But you get tanks, and sometimes you can find decent deals on tanks. So it wasn't like impossible.
Yeah, and originally this is the idea that started this episode.
Yeah.
I actually do, like, if I really, like, you know, if I, like, really wanted to go, like, full tanktism, I would honestly want to try Imperial Guard. But also, I'm not a fan of having, like, a billion, like, mini guys out, so maybe that's not... maybe like this isn't for me because I'm very bad at keeping track of my things, so having like a smaller army would be a lot nicer. But I do love horde armies though. I do think that horde armies are very fun, man.
I was like planning out a sequel to the $500 episode, and then I was like, what if I do something really impressive and actually buy an army for $500?
And then it was like,
Okay.
well, which army don't I own?
Well, no, it was more, this was in January.
Yeah.
I was at our LGS. They still had Christmas boxes for sale, including IG ones. So at the LGS
Ooh.
discount, it was $177 for an IG Christmas box in January. They wanted them gone.
Which, I mean, it's a pretty solid box.
Can I be real though? When I actually did like really like try really hard to find like Cadian boxes, and I couldn't find them, so I was really bummed out by that. I really wanted to get like a Cadian box, but they didn't have any, so I was really upset. I was really sad about it. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to like order this like online or something, and then have to pay like $20 or $30 in shipping because, you know, I'm foreign, and then have to pay like more on taxes because fuck, I'm foreign. Oh, I want to take so bad.
Yeah, it's 2 Rogaldorns, 20 Cadians, and a
Oh.
Cadian command squad.
But I can also understand, like, if you're already in Guard and have an army, you don't need it.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, let's do the Christmas box. We'll say this one is one of the 3 armies. It's probably going to be the hard one. I was right. It wasn't a real hard bet.
I mean, we
believe-
could have made another one of, like, sisters, but that was, let's not.
And I was originally like, all right, we'll do this over the next month or so, and then we'll do the episode.
I remember those days.
And here we are. I believe this episode airs July 9th, so yeah.
Party.
Half a year, a month, same thing.
This was not fun. This was the
No.
challenge part of the challenge, but to give you the story, we started off with getting that double Dorn box. Double Dorns.
Wow. It's not going to be a thing no matter how many times you say it, but, you know, just keep going.
I basically almost gave up at one point. We were like 3 months into scouring eBay, mini swap, stuff like that. And basically,
Ooh.
anytime there was a good deal, I wasn't checking like every single day. I'd check like 23 hours after someone posted on mini swap, and you would see like 7 people DM'd them and they said sold on their mini swap thing. And I'm like, all right, didn't get that one. And that was basically the repeat there. eBay, it would be things that are too expensive or things in our price range that
Oh,
sold almost
no.
immediately.
And, like, this is the point in time where, like, we started seeing, like, oh, Tyranids, Eldari, Death Guard, Orks. There's a lot of those cycling around. That could be pretty easy.
Yeah, this is where all of the dude trust me bro tier came about, where we saw a bunch of factions pass by.
And it's like, why didn't we just choose that?
This episode could
I
have been
get
so
it.
easy.
But after 3 months of no success, didn't actually give up, surprisingly.
So my brother was at the store where he got the CSM lot. This is a different day.
Ooh.
Again, this is like 6 months of time, so
Yeah, this was, I want to say, about a month after the CSM one. But he sent pictures, and in one of them, on the bottom shelf, I saw Guard, and I was like, stop right now. Show me these Guard. Show
Let's
them.
go.
zoom in and enhance. Show me.
And they were a very solid deal. Like, real
Ooh.
good. We ended up actually buying more than we used on this final list, just because we could not pass up these prices if we were going to make a Guard
wonder how
army and
cheap
like
they
actually
were.
end up with like 4,000 plus points of it so we can have variety and play different lists. We were like, all right, we're buying a bunch of stuff.
Again, it's one of those, like, we intend to use them, so, like, we're not just going to pass good deals as they
Yeah.
are there, because it's like, oh, we capped ourselves at 500. Well, this is the $500 list. We got some other stuff as well.
So after he
Gavin-
acquired those models, I threw everything that we had now in a new recruit, and then I filtered out stuff that was still bad dollar to point ratios. 'Cause
Do we get an Ogren, guys? Oh my god, what if we got like an Ogren and we just put like the Ogren in like the Barbie dream house together with like with the Lamenter, so that they can, like, you know, never suffer ever again in for the rest of their lives, because they don't deserve to suffer. They're just like little guys, and like I love them and I will protect them. What do you guys think? We just protect the Ogren and the Lamenters. Who else is like really like tragic in like the Warhammer universe? Huh, chat? Gavin Bob. I know. We're gonna protect them. We're gonna protect them. We're gonna give them a good life, okay? They will never see combat ever again. Trust.
because even with great deals, Guard is horrendous.
Right.
We ended up
is that
getting
bad?
an extra 2 tank commanders with their
Ooh.
little chode cannons, because whoever sold these knew what was good in 9th and 10th.
All right.
We got a 3rd Rogaldorn, which I was like, at the
Yay!
time when we picked this up, I was like, man, I'm going to get made fun of for running 3 Dorns when everyone's running artillery spam and Guard when I show this list off.
It was very much you don't have any artillery and Guard does artillery. What are you doing?
Yeah, 10 more
Ooh.
Cadians, Gaunt's Ghost, which I actually debated not even buying because I was like, they're like $30-something.
Oh, this is the book, right? This is from the book, right? Gaunt's Ghost, right? There's a purple orc among the models. Do we buy an orc and paint him purple? I don't know. But, oh, this is from the book, right? Okay. Sick. Now I'm excited again.
For a kit that I think is that much on the shelf. I was very wrong.
No, very wrong. There are also a lot of points too, relatively.
Oh.
But Gaunt's Ghosts, what are you thinking, GW? Oh my god, they're like $70 for 6 stupid little dudes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Anyway, not the
Ooh.
point of this. We ended up picking up things like some Cadians and Bolgrins and other stuff that aren't in the final list, but
Aw.
they were purchased off to the side. So the final thing I did was actually a little bit boring, but I like the Leman Russ. I like tank spam. We already have 3 Dorns and 2 tank commanders, right?
And that was the kind of thing. It's like, all right, we need to finish this list out and like actually make it a thematically fun list that you would actually play. You need some more tanks, like to do
We
like, okay, you're
do.
playing the tank army. That's what you're doing right now.
So what I did was I went on eBay. I started looking at just buying Russes, essentially just new in box because they're like 50-ish bucks or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was looking around, and this is right when the whatever they're called, Solar Auxilia, they were coming out in
Okay.
30K. This is like 2 months ago, I want to say.
Yeah.
So they were everywhere on eBay, and they have essentially the Leman Russ, but if it was a 20-year newer sculpt.
It's so,
Oh.
so beautiful.
It is a Leman Russ. It is correct in every way. So I looked at the original Leman Russ I could buy, or
Okay.
for the exact same price, the fancy Leman Russ I could buy.
Yeah.
So I bought us a pile of the 30K Leman Russes. So I'm aware I bought
Oh.
non-40K Leman Russes at the end of this. I could have bought 40K ones, but I have taste.
And I don't think anybody is going to complain.
One person will in the comments, which is why I'm saying this to cut them off
But
now.
I do like
Better
it
Leman
too.
Russ.
Oh,
And
I
like,
like all
you
of
just bought that
them.
with the standard discount.
To be honest, this was probably a couple dollars cheaper at our LGS, but I wanted to be hip with everybody where you didn't have to have your local game store having a great discount. So did that. I did pick up at the LGS just a Lord Solar, Leontis or whatever his name is, and he filled out the rest of the list.
Right.
Wait,
We
he's
do
so
have
cute.
more than what's in this final list because we bought a bunch of other stuff, including some other Leman Russes, but that's not the point. This list is in budget.
Hopefully we didn't add a bunch of pictures of like, here's the other pile.
I took pictures of them, so I'm sure at some point Borrelia will make fun of us by putting some of them on screen. But the point is, here's our final list, which I was afraid was not going to be good. I did Acadian Command Squad. I gave him a random enhancement. I did a tank commander, the second tank commander, who has an enhancement. Gaunt's Ghosts, Lord Solar Leontis, 10 Cadian troops, 20 Cadian troops, a Leman Russ
like
battle tank
all of
because it's the
them.
classic, even though I prefer plasma. I wanted to put one generic Leman Russ in.
I would have complained if you were just like, I'm just going to use executioners. And it's like, hold on, man.
Plasma's the coolest thing. I then did a Leman Russ
No, I like
Executioner because
those.
plasma is cooler.
But you got to respect the classics.
Yeah, they're the same points. It doesn't matter which one I chose. And then
Okay.
3 Rogaldorns.
Hell yeah.
Yay!
This list, because
That's
of
my
the
boy
points
right
changes
there.
and stuff that occurred very recently, actually dropped in points, and then I had to fill out the rest of the list with enhancements. But with the enhancements I chose, it's 1995 points out of 2K.
And like,
Okay.
I know that when you bought it, you're like kind of worried, but like, this is still a pretty solid list.
It would have been okay, and it's a great
Ooh.
lesson of don't chase the meta. By the time you have your stuff together and you assembled everything and painted stuff, the meta will have shifted multiple times. What was an unplayable list will be the new hotness. Roll
That's kind of what I'm worried about. This is one of the things that I'm very concerned about, right? Because it's like with Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I can just like collect the cards as and when. I just need to have the money to purchase them, right? But if I were to buy an army specifically to chase the meta, right? I'd also have to spend time painting it, making sure everything is up to order and stuff like that, right? By the time I'm done painting it, with like how bad my executive dysfunction is, by the time I'm actually done painting it, it would probably be like the new like shit list. So, I just want to get my kinks and be happy. I think that's what I think. Honestly, that's probably like the smartest way to be part of this like hobby. Yeah, I think like meta chasing is probably like the worst idea ever. Just cause like, dude, the cost is just. The cost, it's not just a money sink, it's a time sink, right? So you just kind of end up like having a ton of issues, don't you think? It's kind of bad. Buy a Salamander Space Marine with 2 Imperial Knights as supplementary. I think, yeah, you know what? We'll just get our silly little teams. And like a bunch of blueberries, because that is what Warhammer 40k is to me. Ricky always said play what you want and what makes you happy. True. Like chasing the meta only works if you're like actually a little like, you know, if you actually really do care about it that much, then yeah, why not go for it, chase the meta, but like, we should all just have fun.
Rogaldorns are on the rise right now.
I love Rogaldorns.
No one was playing one when I bought that battle box at Christmas.
But also, like, very cool model. You're gonna want to play it, like, if you have a chance kind of thing, if you have any interest in tanks. So, yeah, I like the list just because it's cool, but you also asked Bricky.
Yeah, because us liking it is one thing, but neither of us play Guard. And I'm always self-conscious because Guard players are unpleasable. So I sent the list to Bricky, and I was like, hey, bro, if I played this list in a casual game as Guard, do you think this is like a normal list? And he was like, it's not an optimal meta list, but it's like a fine, sane, totally usable list.
He did bring up the potential shortfall of objective play, which, yeah.
It's fair. It's a tank heavy list. They're always going to be like that.
Yeah, you've got, you know, 2 groups of Cadian shock troops. So, yeah, all right. You're just going to kill stuff.
So I was pretty proud of myself because I got the badge of approval from a known Guard guy. It means I didn't screw up too bad. I really hope I did the Guard proud, Guard players out there, because I know on previous episodes I get a lot of flack from you guys. I hope you salute and approve of a bunch of tanks and 30 Cadians.
I feel like the fact that we managed to get this army put together for Imperial Guard for $500, one, it was difficult. If you're going to try and replicate this, be prepared for the long run.
Yeah.
But also, like, it is doable. So, I mean, that's just, I think we did a pretty solid job there.
Let's prove it. Pricing. I bought the Christmas box for $177. Glance Ghost for $32, which I almost didn't have him buy. $50 for the last Rogaldorn. $32 for each of those tank commanders, which is a steal. 10 more Cadians for $25 because they ended up in this list. Hilariously, they were not in the old iteration before point changes and then things got all screwy. Then I just bought a pair of Leman Russes, each for $52, and Leontis himself for $46 at our LGS. Grand total, $498 shipped.
Hell yeah.
It is
not
kind
much
of
leeway,
expensive,
but
I'm a little smug that we pulled this off, all right?
Yeah, successful.
It is on their
So, I mean,
budget.
there are a bunch of things on this one. Like, yeah, it took a bunch of time. You did get some decent deals on the 30K version because it was coming out kind of thing.
For some lessons, let's break it down. This was stressful and tiring. I would not recommend trying to stick to a super tight budget with these known expensive armies. Guard, Sisters, Genestealer, Cults, Drukhari, especially not AdMech. Anything down there at the bottom end of the spectrum for affordability is probably a very bad attempt to do something like this. Know which armies are very expensive and try to avoid them if you're on a budget.
And we were trying to like buy it all kind of at once to a certain aspect to like finish this project. You don't have to do that.
We had our hard limits of it had to be exactly 500. I can't be like, oh no, I spent $530 and you all call us a sham, we failed the challenge, right? So I had to make sure we were under 500. You, when you buy things, can go 530 versus 500 is probably the same thing over a 6-month period for you, the viewer here.
So one of the nice things is you can use other kits that are basically the same, but potentially newer and better, and just say that they're, you know, for example, 30K Solar Ox can just be Cadians.
Yeah, that one I did debate doing for this. I avoided it because I didn't want to get called liars, other than the Leman Russes because they look better. Screw you. But you can get like 20 Solar Solar Auxilia from 30k for the exact same price as 10 Cadians right now. So if you're really trying to save money and you want to play like guard, heavy guard, and just play a whole bunch of dudes, look into stuff like playing Solar Aux. It does not matter if your Cadians are wearing cooler uniforms. It's the same deal.
And I mean, that also goes into the whole, like, if you're buying secondhand stuff, some of it's going to be put together, which means like WYSIWYG is going to be weird.
Yeah, but it will not matter early in your career no matter what. And even late in your career, it still won't matter for 99% of players.
Yeah, so like don't worry about, oh, it doesn't have the option I want. Does it look cool? Is it the option you like? Is it a good deal? Go for it. Same thing of having alternative kits that are so close that it just doesn't matter.
I will say for a final point here, one that I did not follow when I used eBay for this to make this for you guys is if you have an LGS that has good deals, support your LGS over eBay. It's nice for your local game store to get some love.
I mean, it's also going to generally be easier.
It's true as well, but just if you like your local game store, support them. It's a nice final lesson to take away from this.
Absolutely. Check out your local game stores, then check out things like Miniswap, then, you know, look at the eBays and
Frontlines and non-local stuff. Yeah. And when in doubt, don't pay full MSRP. Amazon is always discounted over that at least. And as a final reminder, we banned ourselves from using 3D printers. Absolutely okay to use. There's basically zero stigma in the 40k community about 3D printing stuff. A lot of people will talk to you about how happy they are about what they just printed. If you're looking to save money, we'll do a 3D printing episode another day where we talk about building armies from that angle.
Yeah, it didn't really make sense for this because you were either going to try and like buy them online or like you'd have to have a 3D printer already or know somebody. So like it is an avenue, but we just removed it from this for the moment because it was easier.
So what did we end up with? Extra armies we've got to paint and put together and eventually learn how to play.
Somehow there's more tanks, just more tanks, always more tanks.
All right, so that covers the last list. So now that we've got all 4 of these armies, well, 3 of them, the one is just the Spiteful Idiot army that we already had.
We have to do something with them, like paint them and stuff.
It's time to play.
So what do you guys think we should do with them? Leave ideas, whatever you think of. If you want to see us do like some crossover challenge thing or something, throw ideas out there. We'll figure out what sounds cool to do.
Yeah, I mean, I love the crossover challenge idea because that means somebody else is painting.
This is all a scam to get Eric to have to paint less models. I see now.
Damn.
I'll take it.
I see why you put this in the show notes at the end. All right. Also, if you guys like this episode, please take a moment to do the YouTube pleasantries. It would help a lot. This episode was a lot of work to make, a lot of work to edit. It would just be real helpful to us. And if you enjoyed it and think other people would enjoy it, share it around. Show it to friends. Maybe you all want to get into 40k and suffer the brain rot we all suffer from. It's fun.
Yeah, something like that. But hopefully this is helpful to those trying to get into the hobby and are worried about how do you find the best deals kind of thing. Hopefully this gives you some understanding of what to look for.
But anyway, give us your ideas for what you want us to do with them, and I promise you guys will be seeing these armies again.
Yeah, absolutely.
But before we get out of here, episodes like this are hard to make, take a lot of work, take a large amount of actual money, which is why we're very thankful that we have so many great patrons helping us to keep this show running. Some of those patrons pay us enough that we have to read their names every month. They are 3D Frank,
4K Fart,
99 Nines,
Adrian.
I super agree. Thank you all. Thanks all of you for watching you watch my videos, you watch my lives. I basically get ad money every time you guys watch my shit, and I really appreciate it because that means I'm not going hungry. Let's fucking go! Also, this means that I can buy, you know, like Warhammer stuff. Which, you know, am I stuck in a loop? And now I can buy the nice bread! Let's go! The Emperor provides. The Emperor is providing right now. No shame there. Yeah, we're stuck in a loop, guys. I watch Warhammer stuff so I can buy Warhammer stuff. I guess this is where we're at.